All right, finally got a deal. Seller's ready, you're ready, but the bank, they're about to kill it. Most first-time buyers think the lender is their partner. The lender is actually the bouncer at the door, and if you don't meet their criteria, you're not getting into the party. Most people start at the wrong end of the process. They start with the listing price, or the dream, or the pro forma spreadsheet. But underwriters start somewhere else entirely. Today, I'm going to show you the lens they use. And then you'll see why 10 specific red flags blow up SBA 7A loans every single day. And once you see that logic, the rules stop looking random. Hi, I'm Jon Stoddard from DealFlowSystem.net. I've helped buyers close $33 million in deals and raise $50 million in funding. If you're working full-time or just want to buy a business without wasting years on junk deals, hit that subscribe button and watch this video. So let's get into it. All right, part one, the underwriting lens. Underwriters have just one question for you. It's not the seller's dream. It's not your pitch deck. It's not that hockey stick graph and your projections. It's this. What is the real cash flow? Not the claimed cash flow, not the SDE or adjusted cash flow. What is the real, bankable, verified cash flow? Because the real cash flow drives everything else. It drives the debt service coverage ratio, the DSCR, and that debt service coverage ratio drives how much debt the business can support. And how much debt the business and how much the debt the business can support sets your valuation ceiling. And banks look backwards. They're not fortune tellers. They don't care about your vision board. They want to know what the business has already proven it can do. Here's why. If the business has $500,000 in verified cash flow every year, and the bank requires a 1.5 debt service coverage ratio, you can support about $330,000 in annual debt payments. That's it. If the bank wants 2 times debt service coverage ratio, you can only support $250,000 in annual payments. That's your ceiling again. At 2 times debt service coverage ratio, only half of your cash flow goes to debt payments. That leaves the other half for you for, let's say, reinvestment or surprises. So back to the 1.5, your debt payments eat up 2/3 of your cash flow. I got to tell you, that's tight and risky. One little speed bump and you're in trouble. That's why professionals work backwards from cash flow. They find the true bankable cash. It can't be any surprises. They divide by the lender's debt service coverage ratio requirement. That's your maximum debt load. And that maximum debt load sets your valuation ceiling. That is it. Once you understand this, everything that follows makes perfect sense. So let's look at the 10 biggest landmines lenders use to blow up SBA 7A loans. Now, through the eyes of an underwriter, the top 10 reasons SBA loans get axed. Number 10, buyer has no industry experience. You got 0 relevant experience? No operator lined up? Underwriters don't fund on-the-job training. They want someone who already knows the business or is proven operator can step in. Now, if you're new to the industry and have no plan for management, loan denied. Think of a flight school saying, sure, jump in the 747 on the first day. Banks are not going to hand you the keys to that plane. Number 9, asset light or all goodwill. No equipment, no inventory, no collateral. That means there's nothing to seize if the loans default. Things do go south, and banks like security. If the business is basically a laptop and a logo, expect a much smaller loan or just a no outright. That's like trying to mortgage your Spotify playlist. Sounds cool, but worth zero to a bank. And number 8, industry red flags. Some industries give lenders the heebie-jeebies. Restaurants, right? Crypto, yikes. Highly seasonal business, like a bar at Sturgis or a fireworks business. Even with perfect numbers, some lenders won't touch them because default risk is too high. It's like trying to insure a fireworks factory run by toddlers. Technically possible, but nobody's volunteering. Number 7, deal structure violates SBA rules. Wrong seller note terms, non-standby investors, off-book equity, one SBA guideline violation, and boom, you're going to get a decline letter. Even small technicalities, like how a seller note is subordinated, can avoid eligibility. Think of it as Monopoly rules, a family game night. One slip and the banker flips the board. Number 6, too many magic add-backs. Underwriters only count verified, reoccurring cash flow. Everything else is going to be stripped out. If your add-backs aren't backed by evidence, your debt service coverage ratio shrinks and your loan capacity disappears. It's like saying, I'm 6'2" in heels. Nice story. Bank still measures without shoes. Number 5, buyer's credit is weak or thin. SBA loans require a personal guarantee, and that's for 10 years. Underwriters evaluate you as well as the business. Late payments, thin credit file, unexplained cash deposits. If your personal credit signals risk, expect a decline, even on a great deal. It's like showing up on a first date, bragging about a commitment, but still wearing your wedding ring. Not a confidence builder. Number 4, no skin in the game. You can't finance 100% of a purchase with seller notes and earnouts. SBA rules require a minimum equity injection. Too much creative financing makes banks nervous. They want to see you invest your own cash. It's the difference between borrowing your neighbor's lawnmower and borrowing their car for a cross-country road trip. Number 3, key person risk, no transition plan. Now, if the seller walks and you're left holding the bag with no plan, lenders imagine a smoking crater where your cash flow should be. Underwriters want to see a transition plan. They want to see trained staff or an operator who can step in. Without it, risk spikes and loan approvals will vanish. It's like firing the chef on Friday night before the dinner rush. And number 2, sellers' numbers don't match reality. Tax returns may say one thing, QuickBooks, income statements say another, bank statements say another. Lenders are going to triangulate all three. And if they don't match, the deal's dead. Banks don't land on mysteries, period. Like, think Scooby-Doo without the unmasking. Nobody writes a check until the villain's revealed. And number 1, top 10 reason why loans get axed by the SBA. Insufficient cash flow. This is the hammer. Even if everything else looks great, even if your DSCR isn't at least 1.5 to 2, the deal dies. It doesn't matter how strategic it looks. It doesn't matter how excited the seller is. Underwriters will kill the deal. End of story. It's like trying to run a marathon on one lung. You're not going to go the distance. So there's a couple things you can apply here or do it by yourself. Take the verified cash flow, divide by your lender's debt service coverage ratio requirement. That's your maximum debt load. Then compare that to the purchase price. If the gap is too big, you're way too far off, the deal is a non-starter. You just got to wait for them to come back around, or maybe some guy buys it with all cash. That's up to them. This habit alone saves you months of pain and thousands of dollars. So here's a couple things you can do for yourself. Create your own banker's checklist before submitting deals. Scrub all the add backs down to what's verifiable. Build your down payment early or find outside investors. Line up the operator plan for a transition if you're not in the industry, because you need to bring that. Learn all of the SBA rules before you negotiate seller notes or investor terms. This is how you think like an underwriter instead of an amateur. All right, let's wrap up. Real cash flow drives DSCR. DSCR drives max debt load. Max debt sets your valuation ceiling. So invert that process. Find where loans die and avoid it. Charlie Munger once said, all I want to know is where I'm going to die, so I'll never go there. Well, he's there, but that's exactly how you avoid SBA loan killers. Okay, if you found this video useful, smash that subscribe button. I appreciate it. And if you're serious about buying your first business, I can help. Head over to dealflowsystem.net. That's where I show you how to find, fund, and close your first deal the smart way. I'm Jon Stoddard. I'll see you on the next one.